Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a channeled message of the collective right now, what is happening in the collective. Maybe you might see this video and you're going through it and it might help bring some understanding for what you're going through, and also there's some messages from Spirit too. So the first one is, I have all of my notes here, and there's going to be a lot of gatherings around the world right now with similar people coming together to help raise the frequencies of one another. It's kind of like soul vibe, like community, like family kind of energy I'm picking up on. It kind of feels like they're finally like gathering in person. I just see them dotted all around the world, and it's like really nice. They're sharing their journeys, they're sharing their stories, and really that is validating each one of them so much, and it's really anchoring in the frequency of the planet. It's helping the planet heal, it's helping bring love, and yeah, it's doing wonders for the planet. So if you feel called to do that, or if you've been doing that, then thank you. I appreciate you. And then I see, okay, so this is the reason I was making this video, is because my daughter has been struggling lately with, she had like a dairy intolerance, but then out of nowhere, she had it from birth, and then out of nowhere it started to get really bad the last few, like month or so, and they think it's turning into like an allergy. But because we've been meeting so many new people recently, like literally nearly all of them have an allergy or an intolerance or something going on with their like digestive system, like to do with their food, and it was driving me mad. So I basically tapped into it, and then I got just so many other messages at the same time. That's why I'm making this video. So I tapped into why are so many people like having allergies and struggling with food at the minute. Like, it was driving me mad. And they basically said, so this is for babies. So the babies are coming in at such a high frequency, and then the food that we're feeding them is too low and dense of a frequency for them, and it's just clashing with their body. It's not resonate with them. A lot of times that's happening, and then they kind of balance out because of like the dense frequency they're around. Their frequency kind of lowers, and then they're able to then eat the food, and they're not as they kind of grow out of the allergy. But they're basically saying that that's what usually happens, but because of the new 5D shift, it's likely that they're just not going to want it like forever, maybe, because the frequencies are just really off, and we're not really meant to be eating, like our body's not really meant to be eating that kind of thing. And also if they're like star babies, then that's especially it's especially hard for them to digest like dairy and like meat, because their bodies are not used to it. And yeah, so just kind of be there for them, give them as much love and care as possible, and don't try and force, like don't try and you know, like encourage them to eat dairy to get out of this like allergy. Just let it be. And then also the adults, so they are pointing directly at the unawakened adults for this message. They was basically saying it's a way to, like, because I've heard of like adults just randomly becoming allergic to like all dairy and like all foods and stuff like that, like a lot of food, and they're basically saying that it's a way for them to help them awaken, and even if they're like a little bit awakened, a little bit edged in there, but like they're not fully awakened in the sense where they don't try and heal, they don't understand, like, you know, all of it. It's just a way to help push them into awakening properly and to higher their frequency. Also, it's a way to help shift their perspective, because they were saying that basically it's like a domino effect. So if their food perspective has changed so drastically where they have to rethink all of that, then they're more open to new things. Their perspective is a lot more easier to introduce new things, and for things that was never a thing to kind of be like, okay, I might believe that now. So yeah, it's just a way to really help them in a kind of way rather than like taking them through turbulence of healing, basically. So I think I'd prefer that one too. Also, yeah, and it also says to higher their frequencies, you know, to like help them, because if your frequency is higher, it's going to be easier for you to heal, easier for you to awaken, things like that. They said, well, all we can do is to just be there for them on their journey, and ultimately we just have to let them go through it. So we can't really stop them from going through it. It's just almost like we just have to be there for moral support. That's the only thing we can really do for that. I see a lot of breakups of couples happening, like shifting apart because the one is raising their frequency and the other is not, and they are out of alignment. So if you're watching this and you feel like you're in a loving couple and you know you're really vibing, don't worry, it is not you. But if you're in this watching this and you're feeling like, you know, you're really wanting it, you're starting to see more of a different lifestyle, then just be open to it. Life is too short to be in a relationship where you're not fully fulfilled. So it doesn't have to be a negative thing to break up. You know, you can be friends, but it just doesn't mean that you need to stay in a frequency where is hindering your evolution and soul growth and awakening and all of that, because the consciousness, the collective is not going to allow it. Not the collective, the universe is not going to allow it. We're moving into 5D energy, and the frequency is going to be such a high frequency where it's just not, there's less shadows to hide in. And like, you know, I imagine it as like in the past where there's been so many shadows, it's easy to just ignore some because you've got to focus on the others. But now, like, there's so much more light than there used to be, so it's less room to hide. That makes more sense than less shadows. But yeah, there's too much light to hide anymore, and yeah, they're not gonna allow it to stay, because we are growing, we are evolving, and it just is it's gonna be an inevitable breakup. So you may as well do it in a positive way rather than the universe making something happen. And again, also, if you're in a relationship where you really don't feel like that's you, don't just try and take it as, oh no, this is going to happen to me because Abby said it in a video, because that might not be your message. Okay, so Spirit is asking you to use your gifts. For the ones who know their gifts and will have an idea of what Spirit wants you to start using them more publicly, you may be scared or maybe think that other people do it, that there's enough other people doing it out there. Don't let imposter syndrome get the better of you. This is why you reincarnated at this lifetime, and it is important for you to put yourself out there. So if you already know what your gift is, then start to use it. Maybe just, if you don't have to like be on YouTube and publicly speaking in this way, but you know, just putting yourself out there to helping more people, using your gift more, or even if you have an inkling you think you might know, then just follow that gut feeling, and it might unravel and reveal more to you along the journey. But basically, Spirit is really asking you to really step into your gift and to start sharing it, because this is the time we're meant to share our gifts, guys. Awaken, hello, use them. Because really, people are kind of like, oh yeah, like one day I'm going to use it and I'm going to help others. And it's like, no, it's now, because like we need as much hands on deck to really help this shift happen. The whole of the world is shifting. This has never happened before. We have never shifted into 5D consciousness, and it's really important that as many people help as possible. So yeah, get moving. I don't know why I'm in this weird mood, but anyways, that's your sign. That's your kick up the arse to start to use your gifts. Even if you're scared, it doesn't matter. Use it anyway, because this is what you was born for. You can do it. You don't think like they're better than me, you know, they can do it, they're better. I used to think all the time, I used to always tell myself, they're better at channeling than me, or, you know, they're prettier than me, or, yeah, but they are proper spiritual and I'm just like crazy spiritual. Like I don't fit into the norm spiritual. Like, I love like the floaty white dresses, but I also love tracksuits. And like, I swear, and people, like spiritual people, like tend not to. And I used to use that to hold myself back, and I used to think, well, I can't read tarot cards because so I can't channel. Bullshit! I've been able to channel since I first awakened, and it doesn't matter if I swear, it's just an expression, it's just a word, who cares? There's a fly. So yeah, like, if you resonate with me, you resonate with me, and your people will find you. They writ in their soul contract to work with you, for you to be the one that awakens them, or for you to be the one that heals them, or for you to be the one that they read your book. Like, whatever it is, they have already written in their contract. It's already going to happen. So it doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what you sound like, doesn't matter what you talk like, or what you dress like. It's going to happen anyway. You just need to put yourself out there and be the crazy self you are. Anyways, lots of people's gifts are awakening right now, both awakened and unawakened. So like, my gifts have been really amplified lately. It seems like my clairaudience has been amplified, but my clairvoyance is kind of on the back burner. For some reason, it's like I'm not getting as much visual, I'm getting more like audio stuff, and I guess I need to work more on my clairvoyance right now to make sure I'm keeping up to date with that too. But yeah, that's just, I'm not worried about it. If that happens to you, don't worry about it, it's fine. Everything happens for a reason. So yeah. Again, this is because of the frequencies are coming in to help you evolve, and if an unawakened person starts to open their gifts, it would be easier for them to shift their perspective. So this is how they showed it me. Oh my days, they showed it me like it happened similar to me, but more scarier, because I actually went into, I knew about mediumship anyway. My mum used to go and see them when I was younger. And I experienced like some like hauntings and stuff when I was little, but my mum told me they were bad dreams and I just wanted to believe her. I kind of didn't, but I tried to pretend I did. And then I was having seizures for a few years, so then I found out about this like Reiki healing, thought it was a load of crap, but went and bought a course to learn how to do it. So I didn't even know there was a whole world of awakened people. Like, I wasn't aware. And then as soon as I went onto this course, I healed my own seizures within the same healing session. The first one I learnt to do, I healed my own seizures, and then I just started to see things and hear things all the time, and I was really frightened. But it's like a way of pushing me into it, because if I didn't go into the deep end, I would have backed out. I would have been frightened. I was always the one when I was little to say to my family, if you ever die, don't come to me because I'm frightened. Like, I was so petrified. I just had a lot of fear in that. So I would always say, if you die, don't you dare come to me. I used to be so frightened. So yeah, this is how they was kind of showing it me. Like, people that are unawakened are kind of like starting to see and experience like psychic things and like mediumship, and they're like a bit scared, but they're having to shift their perspective, and they're having to like look elsewhere for like guidance. Like, guys, I'm seeing this, like, I think I'm losing the plot, but then they look out there and they're like, oh, okay, this is a thing. So yeah, it's a really funny, like, it's funny to me because I'm past it, but like, I'm sure to them it's not really funny right now, and I apologise if you're going through it right now, but I promise it's all worth it. I channel every day now, I see spirits all the time, and it really doesn't bother me anymore, and I used to be terrified. Okay, unions coming together with love, a sacred love that is inevitable. Accept it, allow it, and love in every little area of your life. So they're saying, even if you're a little scared, you need to accept this love, because this is a sacred love. I don't know who this message is for, but this is what was coming through. That basically you're really scared in some ways, and this love is going to happen anyway. So like just try and open yourself up to it. It's almost like you're trying to like push it away a little bit, but like just it's going to be okay. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect where you don't have to like go through like healing and stuff like that, but it's a sacred love where they have your back. You don't have to be frightened that they're going to hurt you, and it's a really beautiful feeling. It's like two souls coming together from many lifetimes before. Your souls already know each other like so much, way more than you probably know yourself right now, because you're so limited in your human body. But basically, yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. So please just try and open your heart, heal your heart, to allow that to come in. And even if you're scared, just try and take that leap to just say yes. Maybe say yes to a date, or maybe say yes to coffee, or who knows. I said no to my partner for a long time because I was scared. Now he's my best friend, and that's really soppy. Anyways, people start to connect with you, with animals and nature more. This is funny, this reminds me of me, and it's so annoying. Like, I am not an animal person, and I know people will hate me for that, but like I just have a fear around like animals like passing away. That really scares me. Like, dead animals frighten the life out of me. And I know that like I shouldn't be thinking about if I have an animal that's gonna die, but I'm really frightened of that. So like I'm just not an animal. I don't light up when I see animals. That's not me. I don't resonate with that, and I'm not sure why. But I guess there's just some people. I love them. I don't want them to be hurt ever. Like, I would never want to see anything hurting them, but like I just don't feel that like excitement around animals. And this message is literally like what is happening to me right now. So they're basically saying like you're gonna have like one of them, like people that don't really resonate with animals, maybe having a new animal, or may like, you know, they're just gonna start like loving animals and being like, oh my god, like look at that, so cute, and like really resonating with them. And they even said you may have one of them friends that or you may have one of them friends that has always been adamant that they are not having a pet, and all of a sudden a stray cat won't leave them alone and they completely fall in love. This is literally me. A guide keeps coming through for my son that we're getting a cat. I've had a cat years ago and I did love it, but I just kept getting frightened of it. Anyway, that was really weird. But this guy kept coming through in channels that like, we're getting this new cat, we're getting this new cat, we're getting this new cat. It was in the tarot readings, it was just in the channelings, like all the time. Even from my friend, when she was like talking to us, she kept like getting channeled messages that we're getting this cat. Turns out we're getting a cat. So yeah, it happened in a really beautiful way. I will save that for a different video because I'm sure Freddie's going to want to make a video on that. But it's a guide, like a guardian for the house, to basically come in for my son because he's struggling right now. And also we live in a portal house, and the frequencies can be really, if you're really high vibe and having a good time, it's really amazing. But then if you're going through something lower frequencies, it's really hard to, like, because you're allowing that frequency through the portal. And because he's been struggling so much, this is to really help him heal, which is so beautiful. And I'm sure he's going to show you in a million videos his bloody cats. But it just melted my heart, like the way it came through, and I'm like, okay, we can have a cat. And I just would have never said that before. They're also saying about houseplants. They're also saying about houseplants. You can see I'm obsessed with houseplants. They're saying that like people are going to be adopting more plants and like becoming more of a plant person than they was before because of the shift of the new earth. It's going to be that kind of like frequency where people are going to want nature around them more. They're going to want to embody nature in their everyday routine rather than like kind of just having like cut houseplants in a vase and just like people give you like plants like, oh, here you go, here's some flowers like for your vase, and then that's kind of how much they've gone. But rather than like, I have houseplants over here, the whole of my kitchen, my bedroom, my bathroom, like that's going to become more of a norm, is houseplants, because it's very good for grounding, it's very good for healing, and we're going to want to be around nature more. Okay, so we're nearly at the end now. Now is not the time to shy away from things. Do things that you may be afraid of or that get you outside of your comfort zone. Confront your fears and say yes to more things, and let go of what actually doesn't feel good. So anything that doesn't feel good, you need to let go of. You know, you're only doing a disservice to yourself. You want all of this amazing life and you want to manifest it, but you're holding on to things and frequencies that don't feel good. So just let them go and allow in the new, and just try and put yourself out there a little bit more. And then that's where I was going to leave it, but then as I was closing off the channel, this other message came through and they was like, wait, somebody needs to hear this. So I'm not sure who this is for, but before I get to that, I just want to say to like and subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps me grow and helps my videos get out there to more people, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. So yeah, so the last message is, okay, so I have someone who wants to leave their job, but is not the most logical thing to do. And after being in the same company for years, they might be feeling like they want something different. So it's basically just not aligning with them anymore, but they don't really have the spiritual like knowledge or understanding or words that we have. And I guess it feels like they might be spiritual, but it just feels like they're more, the frequency doesn't feel as spiritual. So it feels like they don't really understand that they're going to be looked after, and they don't really understand that this is like, you're being guided to not do this, and you should always trust that because it's for your higher self. Like, you know, they're never going to do a disservice to you. You're always going to be looked after. And basically it was saying that because they've been in this company for a long time and they're trying to achieve these goals, but it doesn't feel right to them anymore. It's like one morning they just woke up and it just doesn't feel that like the same, and they don't want to be doing this anymore, and they're at a crossroads right now where they're either gonna force themselves to stay in this and just grit down and suppress themselves and, you know, do a disservice to themselves. They're gonna really suffer that way, or they're gonna take the leap and, you know, try something new. And I'm telling you, they said stop for looking for that something new, because it will be the best thing you ever did. So if you really let yourself think about, okay, what could this road look like, what could it be, and just be open to it, and then, you know, it'll be the best thing you ever did. It'll really actually be surprisingly, you'll probably change as a person. I'm sure you will just like, you'll start to feel like, wow, I didn't know life could be like this. Like, you was on this road for such a long time and you were so like almost like hyper focused on this, and this is the only one it can be, this is the only one it can be, like tunnel vision. And now you've realised there's so many tunnels off this one tunnel that you only ever seen for a long time, and now you're starting to see all these other like off roads and like off tunnels that you can like get out of and go on a big adventure, or go this way or go this way, and you know, and it's just like a mini awakening in itself. So that was the last message that they was really adamant that I'd get in there. So if this doesn't like feel like it resonates with you, please share the video with someone that maybe is for them, or just share it and see who it vibes with, basically. It'll really help them, give them the encouragement that they're going to be looked after. Our soul tribe is all around us at all times, and they want us to achieve the things that we set out to do in our soul plan before we was born. And sometimes that means changing paths. Some people have gone into uni and they've paid thousands and thousands and thousands. They've got into like their last year and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I actually know people that have done that and they're like, I really don't want to do this anymore. And now they're like multi-millionaires and they're so happy and they're so free. They get to teach about like the business kind of side of things that they love, but they also get to live a spiritual life where they feel free and they don't feel held back by anyone, and they get to help people. So it's a pretty cool thing. And you know, they had a supportive family, so they were very lucky. But if you are going through anything like that and you want to work with me in any way, shape or form, I do cards now. I haven't put it up on my Etsy yeah, but I will be doing that today. I do card readings. I do obviously my normal channeling. With my channeling I do 60 minutes plus sessions. So I say 60 minutes like an hour, but it never, normally it's like 2 hours. I can never get the time down because usually they just have a lot, like spirit has a lot to say, and they want to talk about like past lives, they want to talk about what you're doing now, like if you shift this then this will it'll help this, and you know, just so much. They always have, you know, loads to go into. So yeah, that is on my Etsy below. And also I have some DNA upgrades and things like that, whether you want to upgrade your third eye, whether you even want to activate it, you've never activated it before, or maybe it is an upgrade with your money situation and you're wanting to bring in more of that financial freedom. They are all below in my Etsy. And I am actually newly today, this came through today so it's not up there yet, but I'm going to be offering a 45-minute session. So it's kind of like the cosmic session that I do with the channeling, and I do upgrades and we do healing and we do channeling and past lives, all of that 60-minute plus session. That's still going to be there, but it's like a little mini one just for the people that have already had my 60 minutes plus cosmic healing sessions. And sometimes we have that time in between sessions that we don't really feel like we need a full session, but we also feel like we need that support and we need that uplifting energy, that healing, but we don't necessarily need the full session. So that for all of my returning clients, that is going to be available too in my Etsy. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I know it was a bit long, but yeah, I have the links to the videos below about the inner earth, about the new earth, about all of the channels, and I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!